Several years ago, I was in Park City, Utah, and I was there to drive one of GM's first Ultium-powered cars, the Cadillac Lyriq. And I thought to myself, this is a pretty good luxury car, because luxury cars need to be quiet, they need to have smooth acceleration, and they need to be special. And back then, an electric Cadillac was special, but little did I know that Lyriq would eventually turn into the Blazer EV, the Honda Prologue, and this, the Acura ZDX Type S. That's right, Honda and GM partnered up to build a much missing electric car from Honda's and Acura's lineup. And so now we have, I guess, the best way to describe it would be a sporty Lyriq or one of Acura's first 5-seater EVs. So the question is, does it drive differently? Is it worth the starting MSRP of $75,000? And is it an electric car that you should be interested in? So let's start where we always start, and that is with the design. And I gotta tell you, this blue color really pops. I like it. In fact, I gotta say I kind of like it better than the Lyriq. I found the Lyriq to be a little stodgy in some ways, and Acura did style this, of course, so that it does have Acura's design language. I mean, look at the giant Acura logo. Do you remember when Volkswagen did the thing on their minibus? Kind of reminds me of that. That is one big-ass Acura logo. There is no mistaking it. Maybe they thought to themselves, you know what? We'll hide the fact that underneath it's a General Motors vehicle by sticking this huge Acura logo on the front. But it works, I like these very modern slitty headlights, and I love this color. This is just a beautiful dark blue. Now, let me pop the hood and I'll show you what's not under there. I'm sure you know what that is, and that is an internal combustion engine. Instead, this dual motor all-wheel drive ZDX Type S has, it's a double pull. Keep forgetting. The Germans started it, and now they're all doing it. All right, double pull, there we go. So this Acura, of course, has under the hood a giant Acura cover. But what's under the Acura cover? Let's check. There you go. It's an Ultium powered GM motor that produces 499 horsepower when you combine it with the rear motor, and 544 pound-foot of torque, giving this top-of-the-line Acura ZDX a range of under 300 miles. Now, there are lesser models, two-wheel drive, that get over 300 miles of range, but if you want this Type S, you're only going to get, I think it's like 278, which is, kind of nudging up against that magic 300 number. Now, we have a charging port over here, of course, and you may be wondering, how fast does it charge? It charges just like the other GM products at almost 200 kilowatts, and this battery is just over 100 kilowatt hours. So, those are the basics. All-wheel drive, under 300 miles of range, on a giant Acura badge. So let's go on the inside and check out just how much Acura is in this Acura. And the answer is, it's kind of a mixed bag, right? Because we recently had the Chevy Blazer at the office, and these are definitely Chevy controls, more Chevy controls, Acura steering wheel. This is definitely Acura, this is Acura. I think this is Acura, but there is a lot of Chevy influence in here. And, is that a bad thing? I don't know. Do Acura customers cross-shop a Blazer EV or a Cadillac Lyriq? I doubt it. I think for the majority of customers for this car, this will be an Acura. But I have to say, when I power this bad boy up, this looks kind of plain Jane. The GM version of this is very colorful and much more just much more playful. In terms of usability, obviously it's very similar because it obviously controls the GM underneath, but the colors are kind of muted. I'm kind of missing the multicolor display that the EV Blazer has. In other GM news, as you can tell by this a clear strip of plastic across the steering wheel. You do get Super Cruise, which is a good thing because Super Cruise does, I think, do the best job of semi-autonomous steering on the car market. Recently I had a chance to try it actually here in Oregon on the Buick Encore on the highway. This thing works like a dream. And then I took it on a twisty road from Portland out to the ocean side. And when the road gets twisty, because now they're mapping more than just highways, the thing kind of drives like a beginner driver, and I was less impressed. It's very tentative. It kind of slows down around sharp turns, and this being a ZDX Type S, you'd probably want to hustle this thing around yourself as opposed to having Super Cruise do it for you. But the seats are comfortable. Everything is Acura intuitive, I would say. You know, you can see the real buttons on the steering wheel. Thank God you got real buttons for the HVAC. These are definitely GM knobs. So yeah, very comfortable. Let's go in the back. Let's see how your rear passengers do. Oh, be quiet. All right, I'll turn you off. Stop yelling at me. There you go. You happy now? No. Why is this still beeping? I gotta tell you guys, modern cars, they are just so naggy. Oh my God. Anything you do, leave the engine on, leave the lights on, it just nags and nags and nags. And that is not a good thing. Now back here, obviously you have a flat floor, which is super nice because there is no drive shaft. And then you have kind of typical Honda leather. And typical, I mean very straightforward. Everything is kind of easy to understand. Not a lot of color, unfortunately, but you do have a little bit of red stitching here to make it more interesting. And you do have your third zone of climate control, and then 2 USB-C ports. And what's hiding underneath here? Oh, look at that. Electric car has an electric plug. Who would have thunk? And then, of course, speakers, big panoramic sunroof, Bang & Olufsen, and my personal favorite, a privacy screen. I just like those. I don't know. Maybe I like hiding behind sunglasses too much as well. All right, let's check out the rear. See what we're looking at in the back here. Once again, a really, handsome tail on this ZDX. I do like this step down. And let me pop it open. There it goes. Let me pop it open. Come on. Well, let me pop it closed. I'll try again. Let me pop it open. I shouldn't have hit it a third time. That was on me, not on the car. Just a generous amount of room. I mean, what Honda does, which is always nice, is thoughtful engineering. And both the ZDX and the Blazer and the Lyriq are actually very wide cars, which gives you a lot of space for carrying stuff, big-ass dogs, IKEA furniture that hasn't been put together. I don't know what's in here. It seems like I don't know. Shall I take the car apart? I don't think that the fine folks at Acura would appreciate that, but there is a small little cubby hole here, probably good enough for maybe a charger. And then this car does have air suspension. It also has electric seats, which is also nice. So there are a lot of creature comforts that you get with the Acura. So, only one thing left to do, and that is take it for a ride. Now, if you're wondering how does it compare to the Prologue, can you zoom in the camera, which is right there? That is my friend Sophian from Redline Reviews. We're here with the Automotive Video Awards, reviewing all these cars. He's got the Prologue, and we were thinking about comparing them, and then we noticed that they were both the same color, and that would have been rather tricky to tell them apart, especially since underneath they're very similar. So instead, you're just getting a single car review. We also have a heads-up display. Here we have 98% of the battery, and you can see kind of what we were talking about, 258 miles of range out of a possible 300. And as always, your results may vary depending on where you live, how cold it is, how hard to drive, and what phase the moon is in. That seems to affect electric cars for some reason. Don't ask me why, but having driven electric cars now for almost 10 years, it is a true thing. Not a conspiracy theory, not at all. All right, GM shifter. You know I'm joking, right? I'm getting a little slap happy. This is like how many have we done, Cole? This is my videographer. How many reviews now have we done? Is this number 10?
I think this is number 9 or, no, it's 10.
This is number 10. So we've done 10 reviews in the last 2 days. And if you find myself being a little slap happy, that's because I think I'm running out of juice. But they do look very similar. Obviously, that's got the Honda front fascia on it. And obviously, it's got Sophion. It's also a good looking car. I think they both look good. You know, when I was a younger man, badge engineering, which this is, was kind of a big thing, and it kind of died down because people realized eventually, maybe they caught onto it would be a better way to say it, that while the companies will say this is a great way to cut development costs and give people a less expensive vehicle because they don't have to start from the ground up. The downside is people really like cars that express who they are, and it's hard to express who you are when your neighbor has basically the same car underneath. And I think that's one of the reasons why this kind of badge engineering died down. Now Honda and Acura kind of are late to the electric car game, so this was a shortcut for them to get something in the showroom. And I know all the current news is filled with the death of EVs, but I'm going to say this in the first comment. It'll be, hey, Roman, you're a big EV fan. No, I don't care what powers the car, but I do care about market trends. And I can promise you the death of the electric car has been greatly exaggerated. In fact, I was just reading a story that electric car sales worldwide, mainly because of China, to be fair, are up 20%. They're down 4% in Europe. They're up in America as well. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that electric car prices have come down now. Would I pay $75,000 for this? No, I wouldn't pay $75,000. But would I lease it when you can apply the federal credit and the state credit? Yes, I might lease it depending on, you know, how much money we're talking about. So let's floor it. So this is the Achilles heel of the vehicle. It drives just like the other GM products. And what I mean by that is that there isn't an acceleration of instant torque. Instead, it kind of gradually builds and then gets very quick as you get it deeper into the accelerator. I almost called it a gas pedal. And so, you know, making a car now that is unique and feels different is harder when you have electric motors, because at the end of the day, most electric cars, not all, Hyundai Ioniq 5 Type N comes to mind, do drive the same, except for, like I said, a few examples. But overall, you know, this does have that kind of Honda/Acura feel to it. If you can get past the GM switchgear, it's super quiet. It's relatively quick, you know, 0 to 60 in just over 4 seconds. And it's very well built. I know that's weird because this is not necessarily a native Honda product or Acura product built in Japan, but I think electric cars in general just feel much more solid because you've got this giant skateboard of a battery pack that holds everything together in a much more serious fashion. Or maybe it's because you don't have all those moving parts in the internal combustion engine. Oh, be quiet. Stop yelling at me. I know. There we go. All right, you happy? No, you're not happy. I don't know why it's beeping, Cole. I just don't know. It's confounding. Anyway, you know, the one thing that I would ding it for, and I like this car in general, is that it does not feel like a Type S. Type S to me, when I was young, used to evoke passion and used to evoke a lot of noise and vibration and exhaust note. And I think this has the same problem that the AMG versions of the Mercedes-Benz EQS have, in that there's just not enough passion or not enough excitement and not enough heartbeat to the vehicle to make it feel like it's super special and like it's something that you want to, you know, go fling around the mountainside. And I think the manufacturers will figure it out. They just haven't figured it out yet. You know, like imagine the difference between a Honda Civic and a Type R, right? They are very, very different Civics, and yet underneath they're the same platform. This is not that different from its, you know, two-wheel drive brethren. It all kind of feels the same. And the Type S in the Acura lineup should evoke passion and should be kind of a flamethrower of a vehicle. And while this certainly has acceleration, it probably doesn't have the rest of it. Anyway, that's just my take on the brand new, okay, 1-year-old now, Acura ZDX Type S. Thank you for Acura for letting me drive it. Thank you to the Automotive Video Awards for letting me come and review this car. And thank you guys for watching. Remember, head over to alltfl.com for more, you know what, news, and real-world reviews. And I can see my eyes. I'll see you next time. Ciao.